You have heard it 100 times. Classical form does not work in a real fight. That belief comes from watching students lose their technique under pressure. But the problem is not the form. It is how you train it. Walk into any sparring gym and you see the same pattern. A student with years of kata experience steps onto the mat. Within minutes, their deep stances become shallow. Their chambered punches disappear. Their precise blocks turn into flinching. They end up throwing jabs and hooks that look like everyone else's. This happens across karate, taekwondo, kung fu, every classical style. The conclusion seems obvious. The form does not survive contact with resistance. But you need to ask a different question. Is the form failing, or is the training method failing? The answer changes everything about how you approach your practice. Standard martial arts training follows a pattern. You learn a form, you practice it repeatedly. You learn some applications, then you spar. Somewhere between the repetition and the sparring, the form dies. Why? Because your brain does not work that way. When you face a resisting opponent, your sensory input overwhelms you. Distance changes unpredictably. Timing feels uncertain. Fear activates your nervous system. In that chaos, your brain defaults to whatever is most deeply wired. For most students, that is not their kata. It is whatever gross motor patterns they picked up through trial and error. The form fails because you never taught yourself how to make it work under pressure. I have spent over 20 years training under a master who fights in classical-looking form, not as a performance but as a functional tool. His stances hold structure. His blocks redirect force with mechanical precision. His strikes land with power that defies expectation. This is not because he is special. He followed a systematic methodology that produced this result. The form works because he trained it correctly. He did not assume repetition alone would make it appear. He mapped the gap between practicing the movement and applying it under pressure. That methodology is available to anyone willing to follow it. You need to bridge the gap between form and function. That means you do not just repeat the movement in isolation. You train it with incremental resistance. You start with slow, cooperative partner drills. You add variable timing. You add unpredictable distance. You add light contact. You build up to full resistance in stages. Each step forces your nervous system to adapt the form to real conditions. Your deep stances become responsive. Your chambered strikes learn to generate power from any position. Your blocks learn to read incoming force. This is not about abandoning form. It is about teaching it to survive pressure. Classical stances and structures serve specific mechanical purposes. A bow stance gives you a stable platform for forward power and lateral movement. A cat stance controls distance and allows quick weight shifts. A chambered punch stores elastic energy for a snap. A formal block uses bone alignment to redirect force efficiently. These are not decorative. They are engineering principles. When you train them correctly under pressure, they work exactly as designed. The problem is not the design. It is that you never taught your body to use them while someone tries to hit you. That is a training gap, not a form gap. Start with your basic form. Identify the key mechanical components. Then create drills that force you to use those components against resistance. For your stance, have a partner push you from different angles while you maintain structure. For your strike, practice delivering it from a moving stance, not a static one. For your block, have a partner throw slow, predictable strikes and redirect them. Gradually increase speed and unpredictability. Each session, test one element of your form under pressure. Do not try to fix everything at once. Focus on one component until it becomes automatic. Then move to the next. Classical form can work in a real fight. The evidence exists. The methodology exists. The only question is whether you will use it. Stop blaming the form for your training gaps. Start building the bridge between practice and application. You have the tools. You have the knowledge. Now you need to do the work. Stop believing the myth. Classical form works when you train it correctly. Your job is to close the gap between practice and pressure. Start today.